This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Tuesday's primary election results could be a concern for the presidential candidates. President Biden and Donald Trump won in landslides, but more than 47,000 Democrats voted uninstructed, and 120,000 Republicans voted for someone other than Trump. Wisconsin will be a decisive state in November. Biden carried the state by less than 1% in 2020. Donald Trump is calling migrants animals and other disparaging names again, most recently on the campaign trail in Green Bay Tuesday.
Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals.
Trump also calls the influx of migrants at the border a bloodbath. The Biden campaign says Trump is embracing political violence. Recent furloughs in the Marshfield Clinic health system will be permanent. Marshfield Clinic is telling employees that those who were furloughed in January will no longer be employed by May 4th. The furloughs account for 3% of Marshfield Clinic's workforce. It's been 1 year on the job for Wisconsin's Secretary of State. Sarah Godlewski says her office authenticates 15,000 documents each year for all kinds of Wisconsinites.
You know, a family that finally heard that they can adopt a child in Thailand, or a business. My first one was a cheese shop that finally got to sell their cheese overseas.
But Godlewski tells Up North News the office has had to do more with less since it was defunded and downsized 9 years ago.
The legislature has been so extreme that they've basically defunded this constitutional office at the detriment of Wisconsin.
The office authenticates 15,000 documents a year for things like international business and adoptions. Nearly 3,000 students in Wisconsin will get advanced manufacturing training for high-demand jobs with grants from the Wisconsin Fast Forward program. 17 school districts will train students for careers like robotics, 3D printing, and drones. The $500,000 in state grants will reimburse schools for costs. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Over 60,000 customers are without power in the aftermath of Winter Storm Cora. Downed power lines, trees, and limbs are being blamed for most of the outages. At last check, there were over 1,800 separate outages reported throughout Wisconsin, primarily in the Brown, Marinette, Door, and Outagamie County areas. WPS says they expect to have all power restored by the end of the day today. Winter Storm Cora caused a change in plans where road construction was concerned, especially along I-41. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation canceled road closures for construction on I-41 between De Pere and Grand Chute, and closures for repairs on I-41 between Grand Chute and Neenah. The construction and closures will resume tonight. The spring snowstorm brought with it inches of snow and lots of wind. As much as 9.5 inches of snow was reported in Shawano County. Appleton got a reported 7.8 inches. Green Bay had 6.5 inches, and Oshkosh collected just under 6 inches of snow. Wind gusts of 56 miles per hour were recorded in Green Bay. The area's first micro-hospital opened to the public Monday in Bellevue. Green Bay ER and Hospital has 6 inpatient beds, an 8-bed emergency department with a trauma bay, imaging, and lab services. COO Dr. Amanda Nyland says this care model will allow doctors more time with their patients.
Kind of shaving back all of the things that are added on in a big facility, getting back to the basics of spending time with a patient, trying to address their needs, making them feel seen and heard and validated, and getting away from this kind of assembly line medicine.
Green Bay ER and Hospital is run by its physicians and Nutex Health out of Texas. Fins Up, a tropical Jimmy Buffett-themed party, is scheduled to benefit the new community shelter in Green Bay. Chris Olson, the shelter's director of development, says even though the event features the land sharks, it's more than a concert.
And we just want to create a fun atmosphere for people to come in and just enjoy the event and walk away saying that was awesome.
The nonprofit is not federally funded, so events and sponsorships like this make up the majority of their funding. Meet Me at Margarita Bay is April 19th from 5 until 10 p.m. at the Epic Event Center. Tickets are available at newcommunityshelter.org. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
The Bucks lose at home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks lost to the Memphis Grizzlies last night, 111-101. The Bucks now 29-9 at Fiserv Forum this year. Doc Rivers says he became increasingly concerned about Giannis Antetokounmpo's sore hamstring injury as the game wore on.
Everyone said he's good. Giannis said he was good after the game, so it was just visible what you saw. And so, I'm protective in that way for right now. Listen, we have 8 games, 7 games, we want to be right and healthy, and that's more important than winning and losing right now.
Baseball, the Brewers have today off after losing to the Twins yesterday, 7-3. It was the first game in nearly 3 years for starting pitcher Joe Ross, following 2 Tommy John surgeries. Pat Murphy.
Joe will tell you he didn't throw his best, but he competed, and I love what I saw because, to go out there, and he hadn't started a baseball game in Major League since 2021 and has had, a track record of tough injuries. To get back on the hill and compete against a good ball club, a lot of today is the Minnesota Twins. They hit in the clutch, and they took 7 walks, which is unacceptable on our part. And they hit when they needed to.
That's Brewers manager Pat Murphy. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Not that it's any big surprise, but Joker 2, Folie à Deux, has received an R rating due to strong language, violence, sexuality, and brief full nudity. The Motion Picture Association deems full nudity, albeit brief, much more offensive than malingering partial nudity. However, it does make it easier for kids under 17 that sneak into the film to be alert so they don't miss it. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. The first Joker grossed $1 billion worldwide. Joker 2 is set for release October 4th. Speaking of brief full nudity, Steve-O refused to appear on Bill Maher's podcast Club Random because Maher said he wouldn't not smoke pot. Double negatives aside, the star of Jackass, whose real name is Stephen Gilchrist Glover, has been sober going on 16 years and was ready to say yes until Maher said him not smoking on the podcast was a deal breaker. If you're looking for something old that's new to watch, here's one of Pete's retro picks. Check out The Larry Sanders Show from the early 90s. The late Gary Shandling plays the title character, who hosts a Tonight Show-esque late-night talk show. It's a realistic and hilariously funny look behind the scenes that captures the chaos of a nightly talker. The show also stars Rip Torn and Jeffrey Tambor, and you can find it on HBO. During Disney's annual shareholder meeting, CEO Bob Iger shot down the idea that NBC Universal's Epic Universe will steal visitors from Disney's turf in Orlando, Florida. Iger also said Disney is entertaining the idea of a new Avatar area of Disneyland. I know what you're thinking, and yes, you might have to wait in line for well over an hour to see the Avatar attraction, but that is still a fraction of the time we spent sitting in theaters watching the actual movie. Forbes has released its 2024 billionaires list, and Taylor Swift is on it for the first time. Forbes credits her song catalog, tours, and real estate portfolio for the income boost. The New York Post reports that the 34-year-old Swift is now one of about 2,700 people who are worth over $14 trillion collectively. Another newcomer to this year's list of billionaires is Magic Johnson, who made his money investing in professional sports, Starbucks, and real estate. You know who didn't make the list? Me. And Jennifer Lopez, who due to low ticket sales has rebranded her current tour. It started out as the This Is Me Now tour, but has been changed to the This Is Me Live Greatest Hits tour. Yahoo News reports this is a reflection of weak sales from Lopez's new album. When experiencing low ticket sales, always make it a Greatest Hits tour, or even better, just sing Taylor Swift songs. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Cloudy and windy with scattered light rain and snow showers today. Our high near 40 this afternoon. The wind will be north at 15 to 25 with gusts up to 30, especially this morning. Tonight, we could see a few flurries, otherwise partly cloudy 30. Tomorrow, partly cloudy 45. We're back to 50 by Saturday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 35.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM.